Thank you, Rabbeinu Shalom. Thank you, turning time, Kol Lashon, Kavashkacha Pratis. Thank you, Rabbi Yosef Yafi. Now, the Eibishter made such a beautiful world. You can't be masik. How come the Asian elephants have smaller ears? An elephant lives in a super hot area, and he needs to take air conditioning. And if he goes into the store to buy an air conditioner, the guy running the store is going to have a heart attack. As soon as the elephant walks in, the store is already ice. It's over. It's not existing anymore. So therefore, he can't do that. And he can't operate an air conditioner either. So how's he going to get an air conditioner? And he lives in Africa and he suffers. The heat makes him a sugar. So they actually gave him giant ears. And when you flap those ears, the blood of the ears gets super cool. And that blood travels into the whole body and he feels like $1 million. That's besides, he goes to the water and he takes his long nose and he spritzes it. He's a happy creature. An elephant, you think David is not worried about his elephants? And the guy in Asia, the elephant in Asia has smaller ears because in Asia it's not as hot as in Africa. Yeah, what's going on? Doesn't need such big ears. The African needs big ears because he's super hot. Then there's another, I heard this from a taxi driver once. I had to be in New York. He was an Indian. I said, you're from India? Tell me about, on the Beis HaMikdash they wore Pelusin, and the Kohen Gadol wore Pelusin from Mitzrayim, Egyptian linens, and Hindvin, Indian linens from India. And the better one was from Mitzrayim. I said, what's these linens all about? And a linen, he told me, is gewaldig. It keeps out heat and cold. It's an insulator. And the linens of Egypt are better. Why? Because the heat, the weather is more extreme in India, in Egypt. It gets very hot and very cold, summer, winter. And in India, it's not so extreme. So therefore, the linens don't have to be so knackadik. They doesn't have to be such a stark insulator. I heard this from a Shegetz, a taxi driver. No. The Eibush is, his goodness doesn't stop. Now I'm telling you, you did the worst sin. The bigger, don't be spoiled. There's qualities that you're going to get in middle of your worst sin situation. You have koiches that you normally don't have. You know that? Because you got a leib nishbar. You know what a leib nishbar is? Leib nishbar is far from a joke. A leib nishbar is a bracha and a mensch. The Mashgiach Zatzal once said, don't think they have so much nachas from all these winners, they're learning Geschmack and everything goes smooth. They have miyuchas and he got a good head and everything goes smooth. Don't think David is so crazy about that. Don't you dare put them down. And don't you dare stop trying to be one of them. But he said such a zug. Don't think, who's he really getting nachas from? Who are the big guns? Don't look for trouble. If you're one of them, just forget what I just said now. But if you're not one of them, and in my experience, most people always feel, you need chizuk. And guess who needs the most? The people that you're green with, jealousy. He just got Seder Kedushin. He needs the most chizuk. That's probably why they gave him Seder Kedushin. Because they know you. They said you don't need, I told you the biggest, I never was so, when I was at a friend of mine's Sheva Brachas, and everybody, it was a minyan mitzumtzum sort of, everybody got a bracha except for me. I was a young guy then, didn't have a white beard yet. With a white beard, they wouldn't play games so easily. Those days, I didn't even know I had a black beard yet. It was one of those. So he left me out, and he came over to me quietly, and he says, the reason why I left you out, because you're the only guy that really doesn't care for that stuff. So that was the biggest kibbutz I ever got in my life. I felt like, the guy knows that I'm not such a, was I mechabed you enough? You sure? Is you covered okay? Did we give you enough cover? Everybody You have to worry with people. Did he get enough covered? You better, yeah. Okay. Watch out. COVID. So Rabbi say, no matter how bad things are in your ruchnius, don't make away with it. You're going to pull out of it in Yetzer Hashem. But there's a certain kedusha in middle of the worst tumah. There's a certain kedusha that you don't get so fast. I told you, somebody I knew, when he was all-time low, when he davened, he used to cry regularly. Shemin Esrei. And as soon as he pulled out of his mud, whatever he had an issue, you don't cry no more. Hear that? Don't make away. Al tivaz l'chol adam l'shum davar. Don't be buzzed to your present matzav. I don't care what it is. It's Kaidish Kadashim. The matzav today is Kaidish Kadashim. Not tomorrow, no, but soon. Well, I'm working on it. We hope we'll get there. No! Today, Rabbi Miller has old schmooze, and about that old schmooze, Rabbi Yishnei with Hahove! Lo, achakachaka. Miller, same thing. They were very into this. Present. That's Slabotke and Abadi. That's right. Mokum, like Chavetz Chaim says. It's Kaidish. Don't be Einei Ksil B'Ktei Haaretz. Like the Heilige Shleim HaMelech. I hold the Adam should learn Mishlei. Nah. They say Rav Shaga 5 Mendelovich, when he learned Mishlei, used to cry. Was it him or one of his son-in-law's Amatar B'das guy, by the way? And I'm very proud of it. My father I got messed up with the Litvaks. I was joking. But anyway, I got messed up with the Litvaks. I came and I got a little bit, not so the way you're supposed to be. But there's hope. I'm joking. Anyway, so Litvaks are the best people, by the way. Chaim, when I first started learning at a Litvish yeshiva, I told my father, I came home, I says, do we have any Litvish blood? I hope. So give me, but where? So, do we have any Litvish blood anywhere? Do we have any? There's pictures of the Zaydas and the Babas. Do we have any of that stuff? My father says, be happy you come from Avraham Avinu. That's all he told me. My father wasn't interested in that, but I was so, come on, you sure we don't no Litvish stuff in us? To me, if I see a guy in Lakewood who has Litvish roots, I look at him, oh, wow, you're a real Litvak? Wow, that's not Stam. I still have that in me, Okay, Litvish yeshiva, come on, you gotta be the real thing. Navlan and Tate it! Come on, what's going on here? I don't want to say what happened when the Litvaks first got a hold of me. They did a job on me. I'm joking. They saved my life between you and me. Without them, I would have been a Amhoretz Daraisa. Without them, L'chaim. L'chaim. Drink, Rabbi say. It's 3 weeks. Go drink. It's 3 weeks. Do tshuva. Do tshuva on tachas asher lo yavad Hashem al kach b'simcha. Do I have a good mucker for what I'm doing? You think I'm off the... What? You have to do tshuva on tachas asher. So the 3 weeks, thanks a million. It's so thoughtful of you. So, anyway, but everything, the 3 weeks, the time, you know how sweet all these difficult times are, how sweet they are. You know what that means? I do believe in crying for Yerushalayim. I don't care what anyone says. I love it. Cry for Yerushalayim. Oh, you Peklach, said Ramatis Yo. So saying is in stark. Oh, you Peklach. Shalom Bayis, Parnosig, Zutchas Shalom, and whatever aggravations, it all comes from the Churban Beis HaMikdash. Get that. Get involved in the Eibishter's Tzar. You'll be so lucky. If you get involved and dream of the Lechem HaPadim, Dream of the shulchan, the menorah, of the mizbeach. Dream of the kaihanim, the way they're running around the pirchei kuna, and they're going around the harabay in the azara, and the gzrizes, a kayin. You know what a kayin was? Rab Rebbe once gave a shmuz in the 3 weeks in Yerushalayim. He says, what are they doing the 3 weeks? They're going to camp. They're killing it. Camp? What's going on? You having a good time? Now, of all times, when you're supposed to be crying? No one, Churban, what's this? So I'm going to tell you the pshat. You ready? I have the emes pshat. I hit it. Everyone's having a good time when you're supposed to be crying. So I hold, Ezra Hashem, I didn't check this, but I hold it's an emes abot. First of all, we have to do tshuva. That's the main reason all the tzaras came. And the tzaras came, so when people are chilled out in camp, they're more relaxed, they're not so nervous, there's much less sinas chinam going on. They're not at work and nervous and angry at their wives. So that's one reason why, punkt, the 3 weeks, we're all chilled and we're in camp. How do you like that, Pshat? Is that delicious? It was kedai. I hold it's an emes pshat. You know that I used to watch people in the summertime, the same people in the wintertime, the same guy was like this, a city, big city, Shivas Krochim Koshim Hang. What's the lashon of Chazal? Big cities are hard places to live because everyone's running around and nervous and busy, and especially when everybody has to make a moisid smack in the middle. After it's so crowded and everyone takes them an hour to go to a place that should take 10 minutes because this guy had to move right next door, and they have to they don't believe in going out. You know, they hold stay in. Okay, so stay in and sit together. Enjoy each other's company. You can sit together for hours behind the wheel and beeping and getting more nervous. When am I getting? Because you got to live on top of each other. It's like Shivas Krachim. You want more krach, you'll get more of it. You'll be kraching together. So that's why I say, get out, save the olam here. I hope from Kirov, go out, the Tzorach, the whole area, you look what you're doing. If we spread out a little bit, helping other people all over the world, wouldn't go through this gate. At a Bittul Torah, you'll learn 10 times more in an out-of-town place. You're not stuck with all this, everyone living on top of each other. It's Achmanis. But anyway, if you are one of those who's living together, you meant l'shem shamayim, because you didn't want to be out in Yehuppets, where there's a Kedusha issue usually, which isn't so pashut. I've seen guys go out in the worst places, and they came out ahead in everything. I've seen it all over. In fact, I was wondering what's going on. I was so wary, and then the guy's steiging. I saw the worst communities blossom because Kedolite went out there and turned around the place. And I was the biggest one against that stuff. Now look what happened to me. I'm Toyel Rishonis. No, I'm no charata. I'm glad I stayed in Lakewood. Look, I'm a big Rebbe here in Lakewood. Anyway, so it's good. But I saw this. It struck me like, what's going on? Los Angeles, right? I wouldn't get near there with a 10-foot pole. I was offered Kama Pummel because my shver, my wife comes from LA. So I used to get offered to go there year after year after year, and I wouldn't dream of it. Are you going to go to Sdoim? Are you serious? You know what's going on in those streets? I don't have enough trouble here. I have to go there and look for more trouble. Los Angeles? Churban? Hollywood? Shem Yerachem. It's smack in the middle of all the tumah. I witnessed this. Years went by, and I come there, and I don't believe it. They have Kalim, these guys are on fire. Yerushalayim Balabatim. They're learning the Yerushalayim one after another. It's Nayr. My parents moved there. I want to say something about my parents. My father was the biggest Kanoy in the world, and my mother was worse than him. And when they went to LA, I says, what kind of shidduch is this? They're going to come LA, Los Angeles with the palm trees and, whatever. All my parents were doing day and night, whenever I met them, should be a schus for the holy neshamas. All they talked about day and night. That doctor across the street, is he a tzaddik? He has a son in Lakewood, a Mitsuya, and he himself is a tzaddik gomer, a doctor. So what if he's a doctor? He's a malchuva, he's a tzaddik gomer. And this guy and that guy, all day long, they talked about the tzidkis of this neighbor and this tzaddik and that one. And that's all they talked about, my parents. You hear that? That's why they were zeicha to have me. I'm joking. So, but I and Tova. Now I'm going to say something. You don't have to go along with me, but I get a mitzvah of saying this. I'm chayshid. The greatness of Los Angeles, they made a turn over there. The Yerushalayim in the middle of the palm trees with all the good life and everything, you know. That's like a little too loose, you know, that's scary. A lot of people in Los Angeles, I didn't want to get near there, you know that. The reason why they may get so good, I hold that my parents, their ayin tova caused the place to become what it became. When you insist on seeing good, you want to straighten out a kid? Tell you how to do it. Talk about him all day, how good he is. Behind his back, you can do it. And you'll straighten him out. And sitting right here, a family, a large family. Come, let's push it. The Rebbe, as usual, lost some more weight for the occasion. So I keep losing weight because I need room for my chassidim. You know, anyway. So what was I talking about? So they were sitting right here. I promise you, this just happened. You didn't hear this yet? My latest mifus? Not shy. Not shy. They were crying, the siblings. Something happened in the family. One family member went and became the deep end and was terrorizing. And they were crying Tishpeb 24/7. I says, no more Tishpeb. You're going to go home. And you're going to talk all day what a tzaddik, the guy who Nebuch is. And keep doing it. And lie through your teeth. Within 2 weeks, the guy made a turnaround. Suddenly, I want to finish shots. You okay? I want to go back to Beis Medrash. What's going on here? That's what happens when you see good. Better a positive lie. You hear that? I did that to a sick lady. The husband called me up. It was lachan ha'maisa. It already spread. It already this. Don't give me this garbage. It already this. You ever have Kriyas Yamsuf doesn't impress you? He could do that. What spread? She's fine. I hold it. Check out. There's nothing wrong with her. She was unconscious. The lady was in the hospital. The husband called me up. The whole family was on a conference call. And I was screaming, she is fine. The Einishkin Spodik. Mandel knows better. What if Chazal say, not Chazal, the Leshem says it. Ein dover oimel lefnei bטחון. Bטחון is bigger than the whole situation. But it's scary. What's scary? I'm scared of Hashem. That's the only one I'm scared of. He can easily cure that lady. And I spent 20 minutes talking to the husband. The whole family was on a conference call. And I was hacking my head off. And I said, now you take a look at that lady right now. There's no suffering. The truth. Is she better? Yeah, she seems a little better. She still couldn't open her mouth. She said, who's that guy talking? She wanted to talk to me. She couldn't say a word now, but she was out of it. But she finally, anyway. And I screamed for 20 minutes. I made them a sugar because they needed me. I usually don't. That night I was supposed to make 3 conference calls for families. The only one that came through was this one because they sort of dominated. I had to give my curses to them. Anyway, I scream my head off with all my rage. No, she's better. Don't give me this garbage. And I'm going to spoil all that type of stuff. The next day I get a message from the nephew. Rabbi Mendel, these are the words of the doctor. This is incredible. It's impossible to understand. I don't believe it. I got on the phone with the father. She's moving, she's talking, she's walking, she's this. A new matzav, total unbelievable. I spent 20 minutes hacking the cup. She's fine. She's fine. What's the problem? How do you like that story? Rebbe's latest mifus. They didn't call me afterwards. I have better stories. I have Shalom Bayis. What?
When did this happen?
The story is less than 7 days old. Mandel is going stronger than ever. The Rebbe is going this way. You know what people habitually do? Well, years ago I used to be stronger. Now, who falls into that stuff? We all do. So I hold Pulfaka. Beshita. I'm way ahead of, like, I was always about like this, but now I'm beyond. I had Shalom Bayis. I had Shalom Bayis. I just gave another bracha to Shalom Bayis. Watch what happens. They call me up, you know, when I wonder, you're still interested in Shalom Bayis? 75-year-old couples. Watch Shalom Bayis. You still into that? You didn't give up by now? I still want to have Shalom Bayis. So, anyway, you know, I got the message. The most abusive, I don't know who, she suffered from him from her. I don't want to get into details. Miraculous! For the first time, we're married 50 years. For the first time, my spouse is talking nice. I don't know what happened. It was your bracha, Rab Mendel. It was your bracha. I keep getting called from that. And I wondered, why are you calling me so often? He says, you don't remember what your bracha did? And now even that this got better. Now another one. This one. This is Neidais. Right after my bracha, I speak to people from all over the world. Guess what happened? It's not, no, I don't believe it. Are you sure? Anyway, a family member was physically beating up the spouse. You know, it's time to give petch. Physical, you know, with a hammer, with a knife. I'm not sure how bad it was, but the police had to get involved. You believe what's going on? Okay, that was one problem. The other problem was bevaza berabim bekvias, in front of everybody. Apollo, the kids were all normal. Whenever parents call me up, but my child, don't worry about your child. The Abishter's in charge. Your child's going to be, but with such abusive shmusive, kid's going to be okay. Don't be afraid. If you're afraid, that's the problem. Don't be scared. But look what's happening. Psychologically, this is traumatizing. Don't give me no trauma schmalma. I don't believe in traumas. I believe. I'm kaifa in traumas. I'm kaifa in bipolar shmola. I have a bipolar case. By the way, this case, you ready? The spouse, I was given 5 different symptoms. I forgot all of them. The physical, the bizyanis, the locking the door out and kick you out of the house and we're not letting you in. What a real, a merry-go-round. I don't know how the spouse lived with, how do you live with such a person? And this is, they didn't just get married. They're hanging around. What are you hanging around for? Years of abuse. And the first week after your bracha, Rabbi Mendel, the physical stuff abruptly stopped. The second week, the bizyanis stopped. The third week, and the 6th week, the spouse suddenly wants to go out and eat together. And the other spouse says, you sure everything's okay? This never happened in the history of the marriage. I don't know him, I don't know her. I was on once that I remember. I gave one bracha and Zaymigazin. Why? Because I'm not scared of Shalom Bayis issues. Listen closely. When you're afraid, the Beis Halevi says, when you get involved in Parnas Zachem, you get into the details, you kill your bטחון. Hey, I want to see myself over there. I want to see how good I'm coming off good. Yeah, okay. I want to see, I like to, I do like covet. Yes, I'm going to confess in public. I do happen to like covet. Anyway. But he's good. Anyway. No, it's really straight. It's the butt is at fault that I'm saying backward. Anyway. So what happened? I'm not scared of it. You see, you're scared. Details scare you. Who has to know details? I don't know the people I'm talking to. I don't want to know. You got shalom bias. Goodbye. But how is this going to work? When you get involved, you start asking, you blew it. Don't get complicated. They're having shalom bias. When you're davening, I want shalom bias, but how's it going to work out? Shalom says, where the seichel stops, the bטחון begins. Don't use your seichel. Seichel's no good. I have one seichel. The Heilige Rambam says he'd rather teach Emuna Bטחון than any other Mitzvah in the entire Torah. That includes even Nashim and Nezikin and Kachim and Tyrus and Kabbalah and the Chveisvas Shulchan Aruch and Yeridea and then Basa whatever you wanted. There's nothing more chashiv than this. And I'll prove it to you. You ain't going to last in this world without more Emuna Bטחון. You could finish Kol HaTorah Kula. You could do Tzedakah till Mashiach. Move, rabbis. We have Chashav Yidin. They're all coming in. All the Shuvim have arrived. Shuvim, I've been sitting here also. Push. Out of the way. Welcome. It's the 3 weeks. Come, let's cheer up. Now, there's a story. I never checked it out. It happened last year or 2 years ago. Somebody in Yerushalayim heard. It's going on all over. I'd like to check exactly. Called up. This real kanoi from Yerushalayim, an American kanoi. They're the worst. I'm joking. My wife tells me she was listening to this, either me or Galamba, and they said 3 weeks is a time for simcha. Is that what they teach in Lakewood? And he called I don't want to say who. There's 4 Rosh Yeshivas. I don't want to see which one it was. Okay? And this is what I got back. Yes, that's what they teach in Lakewood. I got a defense straight from the top. Yes, that's what they teach in Lakewood. The Heilige Lakewood teaches you have to be besimcha. You know what Baron Cutler used to look like? I checked him out. I did a lot of research in him. Baron Cutler, by me, I have no words. I'm so delighted to be in one of his boys and one of his children, Baron Cutler. If you're a Talmud, you're a son. He is protecting all of us. In Gan Eden, you know who he was? I can't describe. Now look, I only knew Reb Nosson. I did not know Reb Aaron. And Reb Nosson's really my Rebbe, kidding aside. But for some crazy reason, I'm gung-ho on Reb Aaron. I can't keep away from him. And I whatever it is, Reb Aaron! You know who he was. Rabbi Jacobs told me, you can't be massig. A human being should have such a package, such godless through every move. He was, now, among other things, he was super besimcha. Him and Rav Moshe Feinstein were jolly people. They ran Klal Yisrael. They were happy. I just heard this from someone who was up front. He knew them both. And Reb Aaron once said, Rav Moshe is my best friend. I once saw them together. He was happy! I asked about Reb Aaron's Hanhaga in El. I don't want to say what I heard. I will not say it in public. What did Reb Aaron look like in El? I don't want to say what I heard, because I'm a careful person. I don't just babble. But you'd be shocked. He was a happy person. You hear what I'm saying? He was a happy person. He knew how you're supposed to do these things, you know. People don't chop. It's the 3 weeks. Look, I don't know if we have that problem really, but we could have to watch it. Keep us in, do tshuva, and be besim. I'll tell you another reason why these days Reb Shlomo Brevda described what happened in the Beis HaMikdash. Do you know the Chazon Ish on Tishpab, or was it Yom Kippur? I think it was Yom Kippur. He cried by a Sorah Ruge Malchus. The whole world goes crazy. They say it's Sayin Tishpab and Sayin Yom Kippur. A Sorah Ruge Malchus. It's part of the Kinas. And it's part of the Yom Kippur davening. And everyone goes wild. And they should continue doing that. It's Kodesh Kodashim to cry over there. It's delicious. Cry, Rabbi Akiva. What happened? Shemaya, who was it over there? Shmuel Kain Gadol and with Rabbi Gamliel. Who was it? Rabbi Shimon Gamliel and the Asarig and Malchus, Rabbi Chutzpis. The whole business is very nice. You got to cry your eyes out when you read it. But now, please don't listen to me when I'm saying this. I'm quoting Reb Reb, but don't take it with a grain of salt. Be careful. The Chazon Ish did not get so excited there like everyone else. You know when the Chazon Ish got excited? V'koyanim mahai. Marakayin. He went out of his mind. Chazon Ish went out of his mind. When he went through the description of what went on there in the holy Beis HaMikdash, that's when he went wild. I'll tell you the truth. I teach all my life. I teach Yuma, and I teach a little in Chumash also. That you learn Kachim. You have to have a gefühl. Let's get in there. The Yazara, think about it. Simchas Beis HaSheva on Yerushalayim. Think about it. Simchas Beis HaSheva, they didn't sleep. How much fun they had. The Simcha that went on there, you can get Ruach HaKodesh. Simchas Beis HaSheva, they juggled the whole business. The whole kain, he mentioned each kain was a shtik machshava. He has to watch every move with piggle, with everything. A kain. I'm going to tell you one story. I'll leave you after that. There's a Maisa that happened David HaMelech's time. Noiv Ira Kaihanim rebelled against David, according to Shaul, against Shaul. According to Doiga Daimi, who said Lashon Hara, which was really Mighty Shemra. He said he lost his Elam Haba, but Shaul HaMelech was Makabel the Lashon Hara that Achimelech Kain Gadol was against him. So Shaul HaMelech said, we got to wipe them all out. Bring the whole Noiver Kehanim, 85 Kehanim. They all wore ephod bud, which means they all had Ruach HaKodesh. With Achimelech Kain Gadol, they all came into the palace. Achimelech, what did you do? You gave a sword to my enemy, David. Achimelech didn't know what hit him. David was a star general. He didn't know what his politics going on. Adonai Melech, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know you were Achimelech, you didn't know. Bekitzer. Achimelech was dead. And 85 Kehanim, it was done. You're Chayiv Misa. Mari B'machas, you're against me. You're on David's side, you're against me, you're dead. So they had two star generals over there. One of them was Avner ben Ner, and the other one was Amosa ben Yeser. Two big generals. And Shaul HaMelech said, Avner, go kill those guys. Now, Avner ben Ner was Shaul HaMelech's best friend. He supported him in his worst times. He was his nephew. Avner was, the whole Shevet Binyamin lived off him. You know what Avner ben Ner once said? If the world had a handle, I could shake the whole world. And Chazal say, when he stood up, the whole army of Klal Yisrael went between his feet. He was a Malach Elikim. Avner ben Ner was unusual. He was a Gibor Chayil. He was stronger than Yoav. Yoav was the biggest general we ever had. He's the example of the greatest general. He was from Yehuda. Avner was from Yemen. But there was nothing like Avner. And Avner kept Shaul going. Avner was his right-hand man. And now he says, Avner, go kill him. And Avner, not to listen to Shaul, I can't do it. Koyanei Hashem! I can't do it. Amosa, go kill him. Koyanei Hashem! I can't do such a thing. See the psukim. The awe they had. Koyanei Hashem. The awe, I just can't. You're supposed to. And they all, you get I just can't do it. You know what a kohen was? The awe they had a kohen. They walked into the Beis HaMikdash. They saw a kohen in action. What he did. Okay, that'll be enough of that. Anyway, cry for the Chum Beis HaMikdash. Think of that. But this is my old Eitzah, that a lot of depressive people. I heard it from Matasyo himself. Let's face it, we're all depressed. It was Friday night. It was in his house. He was giving a vod, like 3 years after he came to Lakewood, something like that. And I heard the vod. And I remember him saying, let's face it, we're all depressed. And if we're not depressed yet, we'll get there pretty soon. And then he said, the worst cases are the clowns. The guys that you think are not depressed, they're the most. That's the matzah. I remember him saying that. You're going to tell depressed people, look, I don't go back on what I just said now. You got to cry for the chum. But you may have to have a total different avodah. I know younger manish died like crazy. He says, you're a depressive type. You're going to laugh and do tshuva. You're Oived Hashem, that's the right avodah for you. Now everybody got to decide what's good for you. Many, many people out there, be besimcha, be machazik. We weren't enough besimcha, that's why we're busy hating each other. Okay. Anyway, come tonight, let's go, Rabbi say. Come in. Come in, there's room. Now, what time is it? 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes, all right. Got to think of something. 5 more minutes. First, I want him to give me a bracha. Come inside, there's room. No, you can hang around, there's room. This is the Makam HaMikdash. Mishtachim Revachim. Come tzarang, come, push. Now I want to tell you what happened to me. I'm supposed to go to the mountains this Shabbos. I'm looking forward. I'm supposed to go to a camp, and I'm supposed to speak for 300 kids or adults. I don't know what's going on there. I'm supposed to go with that. I'm planning to go. I'm looking forward to go. Now what happened? Last minute I find out it may not be happening. So the Maisa, give me a bracha. It should happen. It should be about tzlocha rabba. Amen. Okay, now, Abba Maisa, it's still not true. When I got the message, you might not be going, I was on a high like crazy. You know what it means to speak for 300 people over Shabbos. Come inside. There's room. Come inside. I'm speaking for 300 people, campers. I want to give them a chiyas. I want to teach them about Zikir Rab. Maybe someday they'll go out. So it'll be easier for me to get to school on time. So get rid of them. So get out of here. Get out of Liquid, please. They need you. Please. They need you too. Please. I want to be able to move. So many red lights. I can't handle it. My Americana impatience doesn't allow. Come inside. Look, there's room. Anyway. Chaim Tayim L'Shalom. Anyway, so, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm dreaming. It's going to be great. And then last minute, there's something went wrong. It may not happen. Whatever reason. I was overjoyed to hear the great news. I believe. Chazal say, what's the lashon of Chazal? Me, Shabal, a mitzvah came to him, bananas, lo yosoi, mal lo kosev, kilo osoi, machshov v'toiva, kodesh b'chum, tzar v'lamaisa. Right? I went. In my books, I was there. Let's say it doesn't work out. I was there. I was like Nefesh on Friday, and I'll say, and there must have been traffic too, and one of those, and you're a little nervous, and a new camp, and you feel uncomfortable, and all the Tara Agra that goes on when you go to a new place. I did it. But you didn't. I did so. You believe in Chazal or you don't? Chazal say, Mala lo ba'kosav kilu asai. I was there. And I was Moshe Nefesh, and it's on my record up there in Shemayim. And it was just Machaper on 1,000,000 Averis, Zikar Ram, and Chet Bal Yodai. And to go out Zikar Ram, that's a much bigger schus. I'm Mamish Kedesh Kedoshim. I can't get over myself. So I was super happy to hear the great news. I was looking forward like I'm a sugar. I can't wait to go. I already told all my friends. Now I'm going to get Bizyonis too. You didn't go. So that's a fringe benefit. That's a cherry on the pie. I even got Bizyonis. You didn't go. So I feel. So I'm super happy. Why? I got Schar Kilo. I went, and I don't have to go. Baruch Hashem. I sit home and relax and do nothing. Doesn't hurt to learn. I'd rather enjoy learning. I'm not, you should know, I went to Chaim Berlin, and I'm proud of it. I talk a lot about that. I'm not going to tell you. My Bubba was one of the founders of Chaim Berlin. That's maybe why I had a lot of Tehillos there. Chaim Berlin, they taught me. I learned because I love it. I know it's a mitzvah, it's not shaykh. But the way I was taught, I do that when I open up my ice cream pop. Strawberry, I happen to like strawberry ice cream cones. And for the summer, as soon as we finish this session, anybody want to watch what the Rebbe does when nobody's looking? This is what I'm doing. I'm opening the fridge, I'm taking out all the strawberry ice cream cones. I'm eating them one by one. You see my nose, you see the Rebbe, how he can eat like a kid. Look, I hang around 9-year-old kids for 40 years. It rubs off. Now I'm going to eat a cone. Oh, can I? And I got to share it with my wife. We're going to have fun together. 2 85-year-old, they never grew up. There we go. I'm not 85, I'm 95. I'm joking. Anyway, but, here we go. Anyway, what was I saying? Who? Chaim Berlin. You can't enjoy an ice cream cone. You take a whole stack of them without a k'tais, without a blat gemara, then it tastes good. That's my mentality. I learn with a Pepsi. I learn because I love to learn. It's fun. How's that? And oil doesn't hurt either, but you got to enjoy it. You daven a lot, do it because it's fun. Look at it like, learning a blat gemara lowers your blood pressure. You know that? Doctors have decided that a blat gemara, 2 hours a day, coming home from work, lowers your blood pressure. I recommend that for everybody. Anyway, Rifus Teilu Shorecha. It's a pasuk in Mishlei. Brings you a food. Okay, where are we up to?